and welcome to a new GTK tutorial, GTK properties tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to learn something very interesting. Before we proceed there, I want to introduce you to, better say, I want to introduce you on all the tutorial which I was showing you, and it is about a GTK adjustment. Nothing special. I was creating an adjustment and a spin button, and once that we create those two objects, I did catch the change signal and the value change signal of the adjustment. If we go a little bit now, we see that the change signal is a function which returns void, nothing, and takes the adjustment itself, and the pointer gpointer as a user data set emits when one or more adjustments property have been changed other than the value property. So basically we don't know which one or more isn't, and the value change says emit when the value property has been changed. So basically one of these things right here shows you that something was changed. Okay, about the value there is no problem, because you can create your own function. Watch this, like I did right here, and I said the spin button value was changed, and then we retrieve through GTK adjustment get value its adjustment value, and then we know which the value it is, like me right now right here. Watch, I'm going to change the values, and you see the spin button value was changed to 3, which it is the same like here, 4, 5 and so on, which works fine. How about if we change the value of the adjustment? The adjustment which we were creating was, as you can see, the lower, which is 0. Let me remove this part right here because we don't need it. Let me put 0. So the adjustments you already know takes those 6 parameters. The first one is the value, the second one is the lower, upper, step increment, page increment, and of course the last one, page size. So we decide for lower to be 0, for the upper to be 100, which means our spin button goes to up to 100. And now let me change a property. For example, GObject set and adjustment, and one of the adjustment properties which we are going to set, of course, the lower. It is the minimum value of the adjustment, which we are basically setting it to 0 right here. This time we are going to give a new value, which is 5, which is 5.0, not 5. Why? Well, because it takes a double. Even if here doesn't shows you, it should show you. Default value is 0. If we go back to the adjustment where we set the lower right here, it says gdouble. You see, it takes a double. So you need 5.0. If you use just 5, you get a segmentation fault, which you should know. It's wrong. You see, segmentation fault is bad. Okay, so 5.0. Now I'm going to compile it and run it, and as you can see, I was setting the lower adjustment, and we got here only some of the adjustment property was changed. So we don't know which one, isn't it? Because this is the way what we created here, right here. So we have no idea. Of course we can check all those ones and see which one we change, or maybe if you were thinking like I was providing you in some video, creating a structure values or something, where you put all those 6 properties right here, and then you can check against them which one was changed. It's not a bad thing for doing it, but there is a simple way and there is a faster way to fix this kind of things. Instead of using the changes callback, this means if you don't want to find out which value was changed, let me give a useful thing for the adjustment. It's adjustment, just to give some meaning for the adjustment parameter instead of casting to void. It looks much better now, isn't it? Okay, now I want to introduce you something. In the signal system which you already used until now, some of it or part of them, you saw a lot of different kinds of signals. And as you already noticed, we have signals and events, but there is something very, very important for you to know, that the main object of the system, which is GObject, which is called GObject, which is the base object type, has also a signal, and this signal, it is called nitify, you see. And basically this is the signal, the main signal which use GTK. All other signals have signal bases on the way how the widgets are working and so on, but the nitify signal always works. So this means instead you can use something like, for example, what do you think it happens if I'm going to use nitify change or nitify change value instead? You see, nothing's bad happens, no errors, and we have no output, but it works fine. We are just using the wrong callbacks now, isn't it? Yes, because for these things to make them work, you need to provide its appropriate callback, and we are not using right now. So basically what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make another gsignal call right here, and this time I'm going to say notify, and then I'm going to pass the property which I want to check. In this case, notify lower. This is the property which I want to check it, and because of this we need another kind of gCallback function. This is very important. The callback function this time takes 3 parameters, but the middle one, this is very important. You see the gparameter spec. This is the reason why I didn't talk about the notify, because you really need to understand the parameter spec specification. Once that you understand it, then you understand what this callback function does, and says that the notify signal is emitted when an object when one of its property has its value set through g and so on. So note that getting this signal doesn't itself guarantee that the value of the property has actually changed. When it is emitted, it's determined by the derived GObject class and so on. Whatever. We are not going to make too much noise about it, but we are going to create this user function. So basically we are going to create another one right here, void, and let's call it notify callback, and here we need the adjustment, and the second parameter, as already said right here, we need the parameter spec. And now we can create our function. So if GTK is adjustment, because we need to be sure that it's the adjustment right now. And now because we checked if the adjustment, now we are not care about what kind of property was changed, because we do know now, because we are basically monitoring this property, which means now that we know, we can do, I don't know, let's say const gchar const get name, for example, and then of course gparam spec get name of the parameter spec. Once that we have it, we can print it, isn't it? Let's say g print the value of the %s was changed, isn't it? So which is the parameter spec? We don't know at this point, so we are going to find out. Now that we have the notify callback right here, I'm going to change the value change with the notified. I'm going to compile it and run it. And now says the value of lower was changed. You see right here. Let me comment these two calls right now because we are not interested in those two calls. And let me call it again. You see? Now it says the value of the lower was changed. And now, because you know basically which value was changed, we know we can also print it, isn't it? We go back to our the value of the was changed to %double, and of course we are going to call the GTK adjustment get lower because it is about the low. We already know because we choose to follow or to monitor this value. And now we know the value of the low was changed to 5. Okay, we have too many zeros right here, but whatever. Now if I change it to something else, like for example to 15, once that adjustment was changed, or the value of the adjustment was changed, you see, the value of the low was changed to 15. So basically this is the way how you follow a property. This is the way how you monitor a property when you are not sure which kind of property are you trying to monitor. Then you need to create a callback which takes 2 or 3 parameters based on which kind of gsignal function you call. Me, I'm not calling the gsignal connect where I need to provide the gpointer data as well as third parameter to my callback function. Me, I'm calling the gsignal connect swap because I'm checking the lower property of the adjustment, and then I'm passing the same adjustment. I'm swapping and passing it here as the first point parameter. And of course we need a second parameter, which is the g parameter spec, and this parameter right here, it is the parameter which will be sent to you, to your application, with the property which was changed. So you don't need to care what is it here inside, because you know already what is here inside, because once that you call the lower and you set the lower notify right here, you know that this callback, it is about the lower. So basically we are checking if GTK is adjustment. Once that we know that it is adjustment, we get its name, and because we have its name, we can also call the GTK adjustment get lower, because we know it is about the lower. We are passing the adjustment right here, and then you get the value of %s was changed to the %f, which is in this case the value of the lower was changed to 15, and now we know the programmatically how the value was changed. And now if I comment these things right here again, you will see all those different things which are happening. We have like you see here 3 different kind of signals. The first one, it is the value of the low was changed, because this is the signal which we are checking against the property lower. The second one is the main signal, the change signal, where it's just informing you that one of the property was changed. This means maybe you don't want to know which property was changed. You only need to know that one of them was changed. Then you don't need a notify signal. You only need the change signal. And in the change signal, you get this information. But if you want to know which one, then you need a notify signal and the property name as well. And the last one, of course, it is the value which gets changed once that you update your spin button with some new values, or maybe you want to type it yourself, for example 55 or whatever. Okay, that was strange. Okay, now it's working. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.